After the mild success of The Gate, a sequel was greenlit. Following the events of the first film, Glen and his family moved out of the house. There wasn't that much left of it anyway. So in Gate 2, The Trespassers, we focus on Terry and his family. And all I have to say is if that little minion isn't in this movie, we riot. Boycott the movie and the entire film industry. We need more minions. No, not those minions. These minions. Like I said, this movie follows Terry, which it's nice to see that they got at least one person to return. Apparently, Terry lives right next door to Glen, and we see the abandoned house. Terry's talking to his dad about some big plan that he has and how he has to do it for them. And we can see that his dad is passed out drunk. Terry goes over to the old house and starts to perform a ritual. After everything that happened in the first movie, he would be pretty desperate to mess with the dark arts again. However, we can see that he's at least prepared, with a laser grid and all this high-tech equipment to keep him safe. Well, you know, demons hate technology. Well, anyway, the ritual gets interrupted by Mo, John, and Liz, who want to get in on the action. They do all this summoning stuff, which taps into the power of the other side, and will grant them whatever they desire. They just have to burn something of theirs and make their wish. When they finish, we get a glimpse into the other side.
It's the other side!
And then, back in the house, all this black goo comes pouring out of the walls. And then, our buddy shows up! Yeah! But then, John shoots it. Boo! At this point, things are getting out of hand, so they stop everything and go home. But Terry takes the creature, which they call a minion, back to his house. The next morning, Terry wakes up and starts washing all the demonic symbols off his body when his dad pops in to tell him the good news. He's got a job interview today. You see, Terry's dad was a pilot, but seeing his obsession with the bottle, I'm guessing that's what got him fired. However, his luck is turned, and he has an interview. So, was it luck or Terry's wish? Well, spoiler alert, it's Terry's wish. But that's good, right? I can only imagine Terry and his family have had a pretty hard life after losing his mother, so a win is good for them. Speaking of Terry's mother, we see him messing with some of her things, an old music box that belonged to her. Inside are personal objects of hers that only makes Terry miss her more. Now we hop over to school, where Terry and Liz are in detention. They talk about what they did the previous night, and we learn that Liz's wish was to find true love. Right now she's with John, but obviously she doesn't really like him, or she wouldn't have made that wish. We also see Mo and John at work, and we learn that Mo has a heart condition that he has to take pills for. We also hear what these guys wished for. Mo wished to meet aliens and go to outer space, while John wished to be king of the world. I mean, if you're gonna dream big, right? That night, Terry goes to sleep, keeping a close eye on his minion friend. But as soon as he drifts off, it comes back to life. When he wakes up, it's healed, with the bullet shot at it at the bottom of the jar. Just then, his dad comes home, drunk, but he's celebrating because he got his old job back. Terry goes downstairs to see that his buddy escaped. The jar isn't enough to contain him, but his old hamster cage should do the trick. After a bit of struggle, Terry outsmarts the demon and captures it. Alright, so I obviously have a soft spot in my heart for these little creatures, but if you didn't like them, this might change your mind. He's swinging on a swing. Come on now, that's cute. Liz comes down to Terry's room and he tells her a little bit more about the demon lore. It turns out that there's 3 demons considered the unholy trinity. Just hearing their names scares the Minion. Terry goes on to say that they have the power to wipe out an entire species, and Earth was their playground. But a couple of billion years ago, they were tricked and got themselves trapped behind the gate. The ritual they performed last night tapped into that power. He goes on to say after his mother's death, he walked in on his dad with the barrel of a gun in his mouth. So, in Terry's mind, he had no choice. Despite the risk, he had to do something. And it looks like it worked. So they test it out again, and using the little minion, they wish for the rain to stop. And sure enough, it does. So they go a little crazy and get all kinds of stuff, including a new car. Cool, but who's gonna pay the taxes on that, huh? Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you? Well, the next morning they wake up to see that all their stuff has turned to crap. Yeah, literal crap. So Terry learns that the wishes have a half-life, and then they turn sour. So what about his dad? Right on cue, Terry gets a knock at the front door and learns that his dad's in the hospital. Sure enough, he got drunk and crashed his cargo plane. As if Terry doesn't have enough to worry about, John punches him in the face. He's seen how chummy Terry and Liz have been lately, and he doesn't like it. So if John's sharing his girlfriend, he can share something of Terry's, the little wish-granting minion. But John doesn't know about the lifespan of the wishes just yet. Mo and John mess around with it, at first trying to get it high, and I thought for a minute they were going to try and make the minion more funny this time. Kind of like a knockoff of Gremlins. But nope, this minion isn't messing around. He attacks Mo and Terry until they finally get the upper hand and make their wishes, which is just for a bunch of cash. How do they spend it? Why, they go to a fancy restaurant, but they stick out like a sore thumb. The manager wants to kick them out, but after seeing the giant wad of cash they have, well, they're more than welcome to stay. After a little indulging, John has to take a big dump, while Mo is left behind to pay the bill. As soon as he throws the money down, yep, it's poo. But the guys have more to worry about than how to pay the bill, because John is having a hard time in the bathroom. This is more than diarrhea. He's starting to transform into something.
Do you need any help, Vanessa?
While all this is happening, Liz and Terry work on a way to send the minion back to hell and close the gate. Liz reads that they need a vessel of the dead, something that draws power from both sides. Terry's mom's music box. They also need a bunch of other weird things, like kernels of green wheat, salt of the earth, and 3 rods of lapis lazuli. And then, of course, a personal object that means something to them. Terry's dad's pilot wings. The final thing they need to put in the box is the minion himself. So they head off to find John and Mo, who are at Mo's factory job. It turns out that that's the only place that had steel walls that could contain John. What has he turned into? So they wander around the factory for a while, looking for the minion and John. They go into the room Mo locked him in, but he broke out of there like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah! And eventually, a fully transformed John finds them. He's now one of the Trinity of the Unholy. All he needs now is a sacrifice. Then, he'll be free to roam the earth once more. While Liz and Terry crap their pants at the sight of John, Mo has his own problems. His heart is giving out, and without his pills, he passes out and falls to his doom. Before they can call for help, John comes down and snatches him up. So apparently, the gate is now wide open, and Terry thinks he knows how to close it. They head back to the place this all started, Glen's house. And, lucky for them, the minion is there. They're gonna need him for the ritual. But before they can start, Mo shows up. So, he's okay? Well, not exactly. This isn't his true form, because he's now the second member of the Unholy Trinity. Now, things get admittingly a little weird. Liz is pulled through the ceiling by John, and Mo chases Terry, who falls into a hole, his grave. And now he's on the other side. Eventually he climbs up into an altar where Liz is laying, passed out. Mo pops up explaining that this is all Terry's fault. He started this. And then we see Terry starting to transform too. He's the third and final member of the Trinity. There's a bit of a struggle. Liz wakes up, but look at John. He's a beast. There's no stopping him. Terry, now fully transformed, can't help himself and starts to make the sacrifice. He raises the blade, but then something catches his eye. The minion escaped from the music box and it started playing, reminding him of his family. So he fights it. He stabs John in the head and throws the box into the gate, closing it with one heck of a laser light show. Liz wakes up in Glen's house with Terry, but is he alive? Nope. Next we see him at his funeral, with Liz and his father pretty upset. But just as they start to lower the coffin down into the ground, Terry pops out of it. What? Everyone goes running, except his dad and Liz, and Terry's all excited to be at his funeral. Liz and Terry kiss, and it's a happy ending. And then we see Mo and John come out of the coffin too. Huh? What happened? How did they come back to the land of the living? Well, I don't know. I guess they just wanted a happy ending. And that was Gate 2, The Trespassers. And besides that confusing ending, it's not a bad follow-up to the original. You have one member from the original cast, they brought back at least one of the minions, and expanded the lore a little bit. They brought in some new demons into the mix, the highlight of which was definitely John. He looked cool, didn't he? And I liked Terry and Liz's dynamic. They got along really well and made a believable couple. However, some of the plot points just didn't make sense. For example, why did John start to turn? They mentioned that it might be because a minion bit him, but Terry shoots that idea down. Then I thought maybe the food he ate spoiled or something because of the wish, but that doesn't make sense either, because they didn't wish for food, they wished for money. The food would have been just fine. It seems like the demon just possessed John at random because the gate was open. But then why choose John and not Terry, or heck, the President of the United States, or somebody with more power? There's a lot of situations like this, where they might have had a good idea, it just wasn't fleshed out. Overall, The Gate 2 is a good watch. I'm surprised it gets so little attention. A lot of people know about the first movie, but didn't even know this one existed. I give Gate 2 2.5 wishes turned to poop out of 4.